Welcome back, I'm David Gibbons. As is our custom, we go to Canberra to talk with Jim Wallace about what's happening in politics. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
My pleasure, David.
I believe you've been visiting one of our colleges recently.
I have, David. I've been to Avondale College and I was really impressed. High quality people, very committed to Christ, and a real credit to you.
Oh, that's good. Jim, an options paper was recently tabled in the Victorian Parliament as part of a review of exemptions to equal opportunity legislation. What's all that about?
Well, David, it's about having a look at the exemptions that organisations like churches enjoy to anti-discrimination legislation. And this is particularly relevant in areas like employment.
So what concerns does this present for Christians?
Well, David, it should really concern us because if we are not allowed to employ the people that we need to employ, people who share our ethos and values in our schools, in our churches and in other organisations, then clearly the purpose of those organisations and the very environment of the organisation will be changed. And we cannot afford to have that if these churches are going to churches, organisations, schools are going to achieve their purpose for Christ, then they need to be peopled by Christians.
So, Jim, does this issue have any implications for the current push for a national Charter of Rights?
It has real implications, David. It's just amazing that on the same day that this report came out, Father Frank Brennan, who heads up the national consultation on the Charter of Rights, said the churches had nothing to fear from a Charter of Rights. And in fact, he pointed particularly at the Victorian example of the racial and religious vilification laws down there and said, you know, we won't have those if we have a Charter of Rights. Well, he's very true. We won't have those, but we'll have a Charter of Rights, which will mean we don't need them for people who want to attack Christianity, to limit it, and to make sure, as is now going to happen in Victoria, that we're limited in the way that our organisations can act.
OK, Jim, moving on to another issue. I understand that you've recently travelled to America and met with Christian and advocacy groups. Did you gain any insights from that visit?
Yes, I did, David. It was quite interesting to see that people like the Australian Christian Lobby, our equivalents over there, actually had their chins very much on the ground. The reality is that Obama, having come in, has really shocked them. He was a man who said he was a Christian, and of course his very first actions when he came in were, among other things, to remove the ban on the use of aid money for abortion. He's liberalised stem cell research, and you'd have to say he's been encouraging to the idea of same-sex marriage. So they're not too happy over there at all.
So do you think there are any things we can learn from the American situation?
Very definitely, David. The Americans said to me, you know, that they were first disappointed, not only in Obama, but in the fact that they hadn't been able to get everything they wanted out of the Republicans. And in the Australian Christian Lobby, we've long held the view that if you line yourself up with one side of politics, they'll never give you everything you want. And of course, the other side will take away everything that you just got once they got in. Now, the Americans find themselves, having aligned themselves with what is now the side out of power, unable to have any influence into the new government. That's a very, very good lesson for us here in Australia. We must stay non-party partisan.
Thanks for your time today, Jim.
Thank you, David.